That who I think it is?
Yep, sure is. Did you hear he ditched the man cave and brought back the study?
That's so sexy. I love it when a man is educated and informed.
He is so dreamy. Always reading books and investigating history.
Where do you think he works out?
The library.
He is so controversial, always talking about 9/11 being an inside job, the police state, constitutional rights, ancient history, government cover-ups, and how he thinks sports don't matter in real life.
Oh, I love a freethinker who searches for truth. I love it when he feeds my brain. What's his name? Kristan T. Harris.
Oil and slave labor. These two wonderful industries make modern life a breeze. And what this fine little filly doesn't realize is that her chic accessories and stunning appearance come from oil and slave labor.
Huh?
That's right, classy lassie. Everything from your thong to your nail polish, your smartphone to your eyelashes come from oil and slave labor. Your top from Uzbekistan. Shorts from China. Jewelry from Indonesia. And your iPhone from Taiwan.
Oh no, not my iPhone!
Steve Jobs may have been a genius, but he couldn't work like a 5-year-old Asian boy can. Even your bra and panties from Bangladesh. Whoa there! Looks like science can go no further. Except for these silicone beauties from DuPont.
Hey.
Oil and slave labor, making the Western world beautiful.
And I was like, I'm not gay, I just like musical theater.
It's too good.
Oh, dude, PBR, man, really underrated. It's really good. I've already had 6 of them tonight, and they just get better.
It's great beer, but you know what? It's no Bud.
I mean, I'm a Coors Light guy myself.
Silver bullet.
Watch out.
You don't have a blue ribbon. It's not just Pabst. It's Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I'm a silver bullet.
Whoa.
I'm a king, so...
Well, your beer's a king. It's the king of beers.
Yeah, but if you drink the beer, then it makes you the king.
Beer's a GMO. It's genetically modified. That's why they don't have to list their ingredients on the label.
Hey, Winston, do you have any 6s?
High fructose corn syrup, MSG, fish bladder is in beer. You're drinking fish bladder.
Any 6s at all?
Yeah.
Antifreeze, formaldehyde, ammonia. You guys are drinking ammonia?
Hey, Prescott, do you have any,
Chewing gum.
4s? Do you have any 4s?
Chewing gum has sheep secretions in it. That's secretions from sheep. Fitting, I'd say. Oh, do you guys know what makes vanilla taste like vanilla?
I'm gonna just go with vanilla bean.
Beaver anal gland juice. Beaver anal gland juice.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound so bad. I mean,
I've had some anal juice.
Yeah,
Look, it's eugenics, you guys. Don't you see? They're trying to wipe us out. Man, the water's poison, the air is poison, and the food is poison. We are cogs in the system, man, slaves to the machine, and nobody cares. Nobody seems to give a shit.
Okay, cool. Good story. You can either, bitch about it, or you can do something.
yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's America. Love it or leave it.
Honestly, why don't you
I'd
just
say love
leave?
it.
I would say love it too.
Yeah.
Like, if you hate it so much, why don't you just leave?
Yeah, or do something.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. These colors don't run. And I'm not running anywhere.
That's
United
right.
we stand, okay?
Hey man, this bud's for you.
You know what? Go fish. Sheep.
Cheers to loving this country and knowing that full faith will lead us to be the number ones.
To Christ.
Christ!
Right, baby. Jesus Christ.
Is he telling the truth or is he telling a lie? He's the conspiracy guy.
You can stick your new world order up your ass. You can stick your new world order up your ass. You can stick your new world order where the sun don't shine but oughta. Stick your new world order up your ass. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. We don't be arrested in a dressing gown. We don't be arrested in a dressing gown. We don't be arrested in a. She is such a sinner. She'll be arrested in a dressing gown. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails and the evil plant fails. Blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. You can stick your poison vaccines up your ass. You can stick your TV programs up your ass. You can stick your GMO foods, but we ain't gonna go school. Stick your Georgia Guidestones up your ass. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. Oh, I'd rather be a human than a slave. Oh, I'd rather be a human than a slave. Oh, I'd rather be a human. Don't you know that you can rather be a human than a slave? You can stick your new world order up your ass. You can stick your new world order up your ass. You can stick your new world order where the sun don't shine but oughta. Stick your new world order up your ass.
This is Band Questions, take one. Who?
What? When?
Where?
Why?
How?
Question.
Questions.
When I was growing up, I had so many questions.
I think that questions lead to more questions.
Ignorance is bliss.
By middle school,
A child's curiosity is at an all-time high.
And that's because kids like to ask questions.
We need to help them tune out.
Truth doesn't matter.
let's just ban questions altogether.
And encourage kids to do what they're told.
To be dull and uninformed.
Listen to the voice of authority.
There are limits.
Dare to be boring.
You can't change the world.
Let's ban questions.
Be dumb. Be you.
Ban questions.
Encourage kids to obey today. Take the pledge at thejoycamp.com.
We're not asking, we're telling.
And because of this administration, we are tonight a world divided. We are a nation becalmed. We have lost the brisk pace of diversity and the genius of individual creativity. We are plodding along at a pace set by centralized planning, red tape, rules without responsibility, and regimentation without recourse.
Madam Speaker, I have a few questions for my colleagues. What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous?
To be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan.
Promised of being one of the most effective treatments for AIDS and cancer in history. Now it's gone, and one of the most respected research facilities in the country is being blamed.
Participation in a process that validates an establishment that never meaningfully changes. What if that establishment doesn't want and doesn't have the consent of the governed? What if the two-party system was actually a mechanism used to limit so-called public opinion? What if there were more than two sides to every issue, but the two parties wanted to box you into a corner, one of their corners?
Censored by the mainstream media, the destroyer of fake news, and your host of the Rundown Live, Kriston T. Harris.
What's going on, program? Kriston T. Harris in the house, and we're here to break down some of the latest things that are happening, including making a very cool announcement that I will be hosting tonight. Ground Zero. Clyde Lewis will be sitting out tonight, and Kriston T. Harris will be hosting Ground Zero, and it's going to be a very exciting opportunity for us here tonight. So make sure you guys are tuning in. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. I think Pacific Standard Time, it's 7 p.m., so 7 to 10 if you're on the West Coast, and it's really late for you guys on the East Coast. But if you're a fan of the Rundown Live and what I do here, make sure that you're tuning in. It's going to be a fun show tonight. We are going to be diving into secret societies. We're going to be talking about, I think the title of it I came up with was Arms Like Snakes, Secret Handshakes, and Esoteric Fakes. And we're going to talk about, are secret societies still relevant? Is it still beneficial to meet surreptitiously in secret to pass different rules and try to influence the global environment? You got the Bilderberg Group, you got the Bohemian Grove, you have the Council of 13, you have Freemasons, you have Skull and Bones, you have the Dignity Order, you have Wolves Head Society, Quill and Dagger, or you got all these different organizations. That's not to mention the Knights Templar, Knights of Malta, Knights of Christ. You could go on and on and on. The Kabbalah, you got the Roshaniya, you got the mystery religion, which is what everyone believes the whole conspiracy is. And we're going to break it down tonight. Tonight joining me, former OTO and Illuminati leader Leo Lyon Zagami, born into the secret society out of Italy. And if you don't know the history of how Italy became illuminated by the Adam Weishaupt utopian lodges per se. And if you don't know that communism came from the Bavarian lodges of Adam Weishaupt and the Bavarian Illuminati, it'll be a very interesting show for you tonight because at least they believe that's what it is. They believe it's the mystery religion. I was watching some show on Gaia not too long ago, and there was like Timothy Hogan and Scott Walter, who I know both those guys. I've met both of them. Well, I didn't meet Scott. Scott's been on the show to talk about America Unearthed and like how Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but it's kind of neat to look at all the stuff that he finds. He's really into the Templars. He joined the Freemasons. So now him and Hogan have the show on Gaia, and they're like, yeah, Jesus and John the Baptist were tag teaming like Mary Magdalene, and they had a polygamous relationship because they had to have children in order to be a rabbi back then, and that's the way it was looked. And so it just doesn't make sense to me, right? So that's what they're going with, that the Holy Grail or the secret could be. And it's interesting because that's exactly what William Cooper was talking about. he's like, it's satanic Luciferianism. And when at the end of the day, it's the mystery religion. It's the Babylonian mystery religion, the lie of Nimrod. Nimrod was, to some people with research, reanimated and recreated as many other gods. His story is very similar to that of Osiris. Is Osiris Nimrod, or did he deify himself by stealing Osiris's story? It's all these interesting things that you really have to, the things I think about when I get out of the shower in the morning. It's like, man, it's wild what's going on with all this. And then, that's what I'm doing tonight. Also joining us tonight, Mark Anderson, Jim Tucker's protege. If you don't know who Jim Tucker is and you're a young kid, which, by the way, like, what's the deal with all of these shows out there having like 19 and 21-year-old women that can like barely assimilate sentences together on all the shows? It's just basically clickbait, right? At the end of the day, we're the elegant, elderly, much older women who are wise and have an understanding of what's going on. I just watched, I think it was The Quartering, and I love Jeremy, by the way, and he had about two young girls on there, and I'm like, that's why people watch this, huh? You get the clickbait. And I'm joking, Jeremy, because we're kind of neighbors here, but it's interesting, but it's true. Like, people are doing whatever they can to get clicks. And we talked about that, how if you're on the OG fake news list, and maybe if you're not, if you get bigger, you got to fight for every click. Like, the Rundown Live was on the OG fake news list, printed by the LA Times, with Drudge Report, with InfoWars, Natural News, the Free Thought Project, leftist and right independent media that work together, the anti-media, Nick Burnaby, who did the March on Monsanto. He's the guy to put it all together in the Million Man March and all that stuff. All of us, we all just basically got deplatformed, and anything we try to get as far as like attention, it's impossible. Like, that's why I use Rumble, not YouTube. YouTube, we used to get like millions of views. It is what it is. They don't want to pay us. They don't want to allow independent journalism. But they'll allow these new kids who don't know anything. You got that show, what's it called? I forgot what it is. It's basically talking about to a bunch of OnlyFans girls trying to figure out the world's problems and what's wrong with women by talking to a bunch of chicks with daddy issues that never had a man in their life that they know how to respect, so they can't respect a man when they get a good one in their life, and they don't understand, but they're happy being an independent woman. I mean, that's what it really is at the end of the day with what's going on there. Don't ask me. I used to be a bartender, so I know a little bit about this, but, couple of things that I found really interesting now going on and coming back to this Alex Peretti thing. You've seen a lot of people cover it, and it's a very interesting divide and conquer technique, right? We're really getting conservatives to buy into lies, buy into information that isn't entirely true in order to take a certain side of the aisle. And you're hearing and you're seeing right now who are puppets of the state, right? At the end of the day, who's bought and paid for? By the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, because you got a couple of different things going on here, because it's not a really interesting, and a very hard thing to look at, but you got the Open Society, which is funding destabilization across the world. And if you don't know what the Open Society is, I encourage you to look up George Soros's interview with Davos in 2015, where he's like, and by Open Society, I mean global mafia state, kind of like Beavis and Butthead. And I'm not even joking. That's like that's what he sounds like, at least to me. So go check it out. 2015 Davos interview with George Soros. He calls the Open Society, his organization, which he's bringing people into, a global mafia state. They're going to twist your arm into doing whatever a technocracy is. And what's interesting to me is we're starting to see now Donald Trump really either giving multinational corporatists something or doing something he really believes is in the best interest of America. But regardless of any way you look at it, he is expanding the technocratic state. And I think there's something to be said about giving Greenland or Puerto Rico or Venezuela the opportunity to join the United States, or just buying it versus going and taking things over. But at the end of the day, this is the roadmap. of the North American Euro, the Euro and the North American Union. All of those things are really just kind of coming into place. And if you had, let's say, a Barack Obama presidency or a Joe Biden presidency or a Bill Clinton presidency, hell, even a George Bush presidency, people would have been like, we don't want a one world government. We don't want globalization. And it seems like the conservatives have become somewhat conformed and become tribal, that their character, their NPC, Donald Trump, right, is the way, the truth, the light for everything the party represents. And it can't do any wrong. But we're dealing with a guy who trolls the whole time, right? He's calling these left individuals that are getting shot by ICE agents domestic terrorists, which I didn't think majority of January 6ers belonged in jail. I didn't believe majority of them were domestic terrorists. In fact, I was one of the few people that filmed when these guys got out of jail. I hung out with Stuart Rhodes. I know the story, right? I've met Joe Biggs in 2014 during the Sherman Park protest. They were, believe it or not, InfoWars was the only media outlet that reported the truth about what was happening here in Milwaukee when the media was trying to hype, police are going to be taking on protesters. And in reality, the whole community got together and threw a party and tried to bring people together. And that's what Jones and his people were reporting back when they used to come out and do real journalism, because they didn't have a lawsuit up their ass. So, like, at the end of the day, like, who's out there? Who's finding out the truth still? And where are we getting our information from, right? And they really want you to buy into this idea, because at the end of the day, they don't care if it's Donald Trump. And by they, I'm talking about these secret societies, the Bilderberg Group, the Bohemian Grove, the Wilsberg Society, the Club of Rome, the Council of 13 and 7 and 3 and 1, and whatever you want to believe is involved in Freemasonry. All these different societies, they don't care which way it goes, because eventually that baton is going to get passed off. And so now Donald Trump's like, oh, you're a domestic terrorist. But it's not funny. It's not funny anymore. Like, the idea of overusing terms and calling American citizens domestic terrorists, it's being used in order to round up people and divide this nation, which is exactly what Donald Trump said he wasn't going to be. He's going to be a president for all the people. For all the people. And part of me wanted to believe that, like, at the time. It really did. Like, I'm thinking, okay, maybe, he's releasing the January 6ers, the guy from the Silk Road, he got released. If you invented the telephone and somebody did drugs or calling somebody on the phone, you don't put the, who invented the telephone in jail. It's just one of those things. Yeah, his platform wasn't used for much good, but, is it his fault? He just created kind of a community forum where people used it for bad things. So a lot of people have different viewpoints on that, but being here in the Midwest, it's just amazing to me what people are up to. And I started trying to understand the younger generation, right? Because I used to be the younger generation. I was on a list, the top 40 minds under 40 for the Libertarian Party, Tony Style, all these people would do. That's kind of like giving a fake award to other people, but people recognized, and I used to understand what the youth was into. And now I'm trying to watch a lot of what a lot of these other people are doing, because I just did it my way. And I'm looking, and every show has some, like I said, 19 to 25-year-old female on there, and they're selling the female mind because of the way the youth and the empowerment ideology and the feminist aspect of the American women really is attractive to people. And not only that, you get the guys, truther chicks or conservative women. And yeah, there's something to be said about women in politics being attractive, and that there's a lot of single guys in politics because, that's what they like, and they want a woman that can talk politics. But I think that there's something to be said about clickbait. I'm just saying that, there's just something to be said about holding your dignity. And I've seen media outlets do it with very, great and intelligent women. I think Melissa Melton was one of those. You had a couple others that I've seen. Abby Martin, that did a really good job. But you're just putting people up there just for clicks because they look good. And I'm hearing them talk, and I'm like, okay, well, this isn't really an intelligent conversation. So I'm not saying I'm always intelligent either, but what is coming of our media? Like, where are they going with this? It's hypersexualized. That's why I joked and I made this image for tonight's broadcast. Here, check this out. This is the chick. When I asked AI to make a secret society member with arms like snakes, it came up with this, kind of fake OnlyFans chick with snake hands. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with AI? So this is what probably people want when they type in esoterica. They want Elvira or something. But the purpose of tonight's show on Ground Zero is to really dive into the symbolism and esoterica. And I don't know if I talked to you guys about this because I think I deleted the episode, but I did a really cool short on the ever-burning lamp. And if you're out there and you're like, Kristan, why are you going all over the place? It's because I'm just kind of doing this to hang out with you guys and let you guys know I'll be live and I'm hosting Ground Zero tonight. And it's a good warm-up for me for doing radio tonight, I think, too, is talking to you guys. I see that there's comments in the chat, and we'll get to those in just a moment, too. It says, yay, my new hero. Hi, what's going on? Just hanging out and trying to figure out what's going on in the world. So I'm getting these calls from my fellow conservatives, and I'm not talking about calls from just local 19-year-old girls on the quartering. I'm talking about women who have really impacted and really have helped society, cop blocking and involved in different kind of police accountability. We're talking about tough women who have stopped and filmed the police, but yet now are Trump conservatives. And they're like, Kristan, maybe we need the Insurrection Act. And I'm like, boy, you sound a lot like the John McCain of the Libertarian Party all of a sudden. Like, what's the answer here? So we're looking at the situation now with Alex Peretti, right? And Alex Peretti it was like something out of Super Troopers. A gunshot went off and all the ICE agents moved back and they're just shooting at him on the ground like he's like some kind of, mafia, Tommy gun wielding thug. And in reality, once we're seeing the whole video, what the hell happened there? Has anyone even figured out the details on why are we calling him a domestic terrorist? He had a concealed carry license, right? He had, a gun which is known for early discharge. They don't allow him to law enforcement. Was it an MP320 or something like that? I don't remember. I know it's like a shitty 9mm. It's known to be discharging often. In fact, there's videos of cops who have it and having it accidentally discharge. I think when you do a concealed carry class, it's one of the videos they show, and it's the gun he has. So it's really interesting. So they hear this gun go off. They don't check to see if the kid's disarmed, and they just load him full of lead. And it's like, unlawful but awful. That's what the right's going with. Oh, it's lawful but awful. Yeah, okay. I don't understand how it's lawful. He didn't shoot at you. He didn't pull out a gun. Somebody else took the gun off of him. And it's when you look at the video, it almost looks like the gun goes off, like it's an early discharge. So a lot of people are talking about that right now is the early discharge. And that's what we have here. And I got a couple different videos talking about this subject. And it's like, okay, so we got the ICE that are acting like thugs. They're going around. You got the right that supports ICE. And then you got the left that's like, all ICE is bad. And they're just trying to get some evil, bad minorities out of the, local community. And how many of them are really, let's say, hardworking, loving minorities that have been here and changed their life? I don't know. I don't know those answers. I don't have them on top of my head. But when we look at this is Ron Paul talking about the ICE situation. I think it's interesting to see what other people and the elders think, because the older generation, especially somebody looked up to like Ron Paul, it's really easy for us to really buy into the tribalism. Like, I love the Green Bay fucking Packers, but I really dislike the Bears. So to me, one side could be Packers, one side's the Bears. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent. And I kind of find Ron Paul's kind of like the barometer of reason and common sense 99% of the time.
Yeah, and one of the problems, Dr. Paul, is, we're descending into tribalism. The right wants to see the left owned.
And that's funny because this is exactly what I told you guys a week ago. Exactly, right? I said, this is tribalism. It's divide and conquer. People are getting it. And it's crazy because my video on Rumble, it got more views than normal. Let's put it that way. We're hitting 1,000 views, which isn't a lot. But for just dicking around before I come back on radio, that's not bad.
Left wants to see the right owned And meanwhile, the police state is circling around. A surveillance state is descending on the country. And the two sides are so busy with their bumper sticker slogans that they're not looking around. And of course, you had a particularly violent weekend with this horrible shooting of Alex Pretty. No matter what you think about it, I think there's probably not anyone who'd say it's really great that he got killed. But very awful in Minneapolis. You had a woman, I think, get her hand blown off today, part of it at least, from a non-lethal shot from one of the ICE agents.
That's a waste. So many things about economically or foreign policy. Get scared. Then the people will roll over and say, please come and take care of us. I want to be safe. So that is a real challenge.
Yeah, I think you're right. Both sides want the government to come in and do the bidding, and it's a problem because neither side understands that the government is part of the problem or is the problem. And one of the things that I would be concerned about, Dr. Paul, if I were a Republican looking at the midterms, is not just the aggressiveness of this deportation campaign. I mean, I think there are reasonable people who do think that we need to have secure borders and that people who are here illegally shouldn't be here illegally, who would say you should have bust down their door, in this aggressive way. But the other thing that's happening with the shooting over the weekend of this individual, he was out protesting. There are different versions about what happened, but what is clear is that he had a concealed carry license and he was carrying a firearm. And it's interesting, not only just the administration, but all of the previous extreme, strong pro-Second Amendment people are blaming him for carrying a firearm. And it took someone like Thomas Massey to say, you're allowed to carry a firearm to a protest. It shouldn't be a license for the police to kill you. But the other problem is how much the administration has just out and out lied about what happened. And I'm sure most of America has seen the various videos about what happened. So it's not like they're telling us, that we don't know already what's happened. But, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she claimed that this gentleman, Preti, attacked officers, which is absolutely not true. You can see the video. He didn't attack officers. Kash Patel, the FBI director, said the same thing, and it's not true. Kristi Noem claimed that he was brandishing a gun, which is not true. He never pulled the gun. The gun was taken away by law enforcement. And Stephen Miller, probably the most radical member of the administration, he referred to this person as an assassin who tried to murder federal agents. Very, very clearly not true. And unfortunately, Vice President Vance repeated that claim that he is an assassin trying to kill officers. None of that's true, and people who watch the video can see that it's true. And so I think it's leading people to lose faith and lose confidence in the administration that they would lie so blatantly about things that are so easily provable. So I think the numbers are going to continue to go down for the administration because of this. Yeah, and one of the problems, Dr. Paul, is we're descending into tribalism.
So here we have it. This is the video that we were showing a couple days ago. Now, if you look at here, right about here, he has the gun to his side. All right, let's blow this up for you guys. Let's see if you guys can, we can get this over here on the big screen for you. And basically, you're going to see the gun go out to the side, and it looks like it discharges. And so all of a sudden, then you have a Super Troopers type style where they all back up. And I don't know if one of them shoots them, do they all have to shoot them? Like, I don't understand the mentality there. It's like, oh, okay, it sounds like something out of, a comedy movie. And it's like, shows how dumb cops are. Like, sometimes, like, Alex Pretty, regardless if you agree with his political viewpoint, shouldn't be dead. We should be all concerned about this. At the end of the day, if you're on the right, this isn't a good thing. If you're on the left, this isn't a good thing. If you're the Trump administration, this isn't a good thing. That's why you heard about ICE getting pulled out, I believe, recently. And he was like on the phone with Tim Waltz. I don't know if they're working out some kind of background deal so he doesn't get nailed with the Somali thing because this isn't good for Trump's ratings. And, Trump lets him handle it and the problem goes away, per se. Or does it? Because I think the left, if their people are in charge, they get it's same thing. It's like dictated down. The open society, Soros people don't want a conservative in office as a governor, right? So they got to figure out, because locals aren't happy if the places start burning down and people go, right now they're upset, but give it some time. A lot, like I talked to somebody from Minnesota just yesterday. They're like, geez, you're upset about what happened, but it doesn't give you justification to go in hotels and drag people out of the streets and do all those things. That's not much better, right? You have a right to protest, blow whistles. You're out in public. You can take video. Just don't interrupt somebody working, right? That once you interfere with law enforcement, that's when they start having issues. I've covered over 250 protests, dealt with more law enforcement more times than I've wanted to, and I've even contested them and won. Meaning, like they've said things to me like, "You need to go home right now, or we will arrest you." And I said, "Well, I'm media. I'm going to go stand over there by all the rest of the media. You see them over there? That's where I'll be. That seems like to be an okay place." And then they just let me walk. It's just you don't want to be. You don't want to just be like, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere." It's all in the magic in words. It's how you communicate with people. It's just like, if you're easy to anger right now, you're easy to manipulate. So what you're seeing is the right and the left be manipulated. The right and the left are being manipulated. And what's crazy is neither of them are being manipulated by, let's say, your local political party per se. You have Donald Trump. He's manipulating the left. He's putting ICE out there. His people are calling you domestic terrorists. You know why that is? Probably because in 2011, they started having fusion centers watch Ron Paulers and libertarians, considering them domestic terrorists. And then the term got used on January 6th, domestic terrorists. Now it's payback. That's how petty it is. Like, right? That's how petty. And people are like, "Oh, yeah, it's okay. I spent time in jail January 6th. I don't believe a lot of the people belonged in jail that were there. If you committed a violent crime or you did something and breaking something intentionally, maybe you deserve some kind of fine or jail time, that whatever is appropriate. But I don't believe the whole insurrection narrative. I just don't. I was there covering events that day. It just wasn't how it happened. All right. I'm sorry to tell you guys on the left that, and all you bootlicking leftist anti-fascists who went and were hanging out with the FBI and turning in video, you're no better, because all it showed is you guys just want to be the cops at the end of the day. And then you're just a bigger, you're the fascist, right? That's, as long as you're the fascist in charge, you're happy with it. It isn't really what the utopian agenda that you mentioned. It's not going to be, communism never works out. Hasn't worked out. So then again, all forms of government don't work out. You can have a table full of like a socialist, communist, democratic republic, socialist, anarchist, Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Constitutionalist, Prohibition Party, and they'll all be sitting at the table, and everyone will bitch about which form of government is better. But at the end of the day, none of them are happy with government. Just saying. I'm just saying which one is best. I'm not sure. I'm going to tell you right now, as an independent, the Republicans treat me better a lot of times, but I can't disagree with the Democrats right now with the Alex Pretty thing. It looks pretty bad. It looks bad. It's bad to call him a terrorist. It's bad. It's like, yeah, no, not good at all. We got Kitty in the chat. She said Pretty was shot near a place called Glam Doll Donuts. Let's put that on the screen. I'm kind of curious to see what she's saying here, because sometimes these places have esoteric meaning. It's interesting. She says, Kitty says, Pretty was shot near a place called Glam Doll Donuts. I mean, like what kind of place is that? Donuts is a cop theme. A little wordplay. Alex Pretty, Renee Good, Pretty Good, but things are pretty bad in Minneapolis. What's really interesting is the play on words. Like, it's that word magic. I talked about this with Glenn Zarmanov, and I called him last night. I hit him up last night to come on the show, right? And we talked a lot about, numerology and numbers and words and subliminal messages, just like with 9/11, the pancake theory, right? Everyone loves fucking pancakes. You put maple syrup on them, some butter. It must be the pancake theory. 9/11, believe the official story. They do that, right? And I think that's pretty interesting that you bring that up, because it is pretty good, right? That's what they're trying to make it sound like. Awful but lawful. catchphrases. It's like sustainable development, smart growth, right? It's smart growth. It's good for your community. It's green, but it's going to make you live in a sardine can apartment with a subway and a gym on the bottom. Then you're going to have no room to yourself. It's like one of those things, cliches that they use. Think locally, act locally, think globally. It sounds good. It sounds cute, but in reality, we're just saying giving up your rights to these 15-minute cities, your right to drive wherever you want, to get off private property, to not own anything. That's where it all goes at the end of the day. And it's scary because that's what fully automated luxury communism is really about. And on today's broadcast tonight, when I'm filling in for Ground Zero, we're going to dive into a lot of this esoterica. We're going to dive into these ideas that William Cooper was talking about, where he was very right, and he predicted through his mystery religion segments really what a lot of these secret societies believe. And I used to get in debates with Freemasons because you learn as a person who sat and talked to 33rd and 32nd degree Masons that they don't all believe the same thing. They have different variations, much like we do in real life, right? They got their Shriners, they got their Jesters, they got all these different groups that have been absorbed by the fraternal organizations because they're all basically the same thing. They talk about how when the Knights Templar went into South America, to Scotland, like the initiation rites of their wise ones and their priests were all the same. So they all knew it. They all had the same conversation, and basically it was the mystery religion, the Aztlan, right? In Wisconsin, we have the Aztlan pyramid mounds. It was rumored that the Aztecs came up the freaking Mississippi, made some pyramid mounds and put pyramids on the bottom of Rock Lake. And then, the word Aztlan is believed to come from Aztecs, which is really Atlantis. It is what they believe. And I can't tell you, I don't know what I believe when it comes to all that. Like, what is bullshit, what is not? The Templar cross, that's Atlantis symbol. That's a symbol for a pyramid. It's like all this esoteric and sacred geometry that is really built into the words and numbers. And even our capital A is a pyramid, an all-seeing eye. And, capital B is number 13. What is it to be a worker bee? What is a queen bee? What is it that she does, right? So, it's all this, queen bees are known as warlocks and witches, and we get back into the occultism again, right? So tonight, Leo Lyon Zagami, former leader of the Illuminati and OTO Satanists, which is what the modern day Illuminati is with the MK Ultra mind control, right? That's really where it breaks down. And we learned a lot of that because of somebody named Fritz Springmeier and Jordan Maxwell and all these other individuals, Tex Mars breaking it down, Freedom Fly, all these guys throughout history. A lot of them are gone and dead now. Myron C. Fagan, Maxwell, Anthony Hilder, another great, breaking down the symbolism, the occultism, the Hollywood all-seeing eye bullshit and everything else that they do. And, it's all symbolism, right? You always see, Elon Musk sitting there thinking like this because this is a position of power. This is the hand position of power. And that's why you talk to people like this. All those things, symbolism, gestures, colors, all of that matters. In esoteric societies and occults know mind control and what they call epigenetic memories better than anybody else. In fact, the MK Ultra studies studied mostly what they called the bloodlines of the Illuminati. There's a whole book written on it called The 13 Bloodlines. I think half of it's bullshit, but the other half is genuine. It's like, you read, it's like any other book. It's somebody's story to tell, right? Reverse hypnosis. I don't know how much I believe that either. Not hating on anyone that does it, right? Not hating on anyone that does it. But that being said, I think that tonight's show is going to be awesome. We also have, in the second hour, Mark Anderson will be joining us. That's Bilderberg. In 2017, this guy verified that there was a Bilderberg. There's a little Henry Kissinger who looked like a little Bilbo Baggins with a little hobbit, walking around, Yoda, sitting there trying to walk. Probably it was right before he started going to wheelchair. That dude lived to 100 years old. Evil people live long. They don't get cancer. I don't know why. I'm guessing it's because the Rockefellers are in bed with those guys, because the Rockefellers were involved in starting a Bilderberg group. The former Nazis who started a globalist think tank after World War II. And they did it in Sweden at Switzerland in a little hotel called Bilderberg. And if you don't believe it, look it up. Prince Bernard, who helped start the Bilderberg Group, former Nazi. Yeah, that's based, and all the money in America that funded the Adolf Hitler regime. Oh, yeah, that's former Nazi. NASA, former Nazi. Nobody wants to talk about it. You have Nick Fuentes talk about it, but that's because it's cool to hate. That's how you get ratings. That makes you pretty lame if you ask me. But go ahead, guy, do it. Do it, rock it. And I'm not saying you're dumb for doing it because you know your listeners are dumb because that's why they follow you. Anyways, I'm just kidding, Nick. I don't know that guy at all, but I'm just telling you how I feel sometimes. Pretty was shot near a place called Glam Doll Donuts. Glam Doll Donuts. What kind of name is that anyways? Glam Doll Donuts. It sounds kind of weird. It sounds kind of, yeah, interesting piece of information. It says there are black X's tiled outside of the door. Black X's tiled outside the door. Interesting stuff nonetheless. If you're tuning in, you can get in the chat. You can hang out with us for a little bit. I'll be here for a little while yet. We were just talking about some of the craziness that we're seeing, the esotericism, the secret societies. And I don't know if you guys know this, but in the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, if you look up a guy named Nimrod. And, you know, the truth behind the name has been really hidden because he used to be a Sumerian, right? This is post-flood. The king of Samaria had his ark, got tipped off that the world was going to have a cataclysm. And Nimrod was Ham's, I think, great-grandson or grandson. And Ham is the one that stole the garments of skin off of Noah. And if you don't know what the garments of skin are, that's because you never read the esoteric books of the Bible. So in the books of Adam and Eve, they get given these armor of light. They call it the garments of skin, but it's armor of light. And he kept all the evil beasts away from them and gave them superhuman Nephilim strength. And essentially that's what Nimrod puts on because Ham stole it from Noah. No one knew what he did or thought that he threw his stuff overboard. Maybe that's why he found him naked. I don't know. Maybe they got it on. I have no idea. The Christians, they don't like that story so much because it sounds like, you know, something more going on there. And I don't know what to make of it. That's not I'm not a preacher of any sorts. I just know what I read. And it could have been that he stole the garment's skin, could have been homosexuality. None of it really matters at the end of the day because we're really talking about Nimrod getting these garments of skin, and that's what gave him superpowers, right? So Nimrod became the first sun deity because he had incestuous relationships with his mother and wife, Semiramis. She's known as the Whore of Babylon. In fact, the Statue of Liberty is Semiramis. If you look up the Medal of Honor, it'll say right under the definition of the symbolism, which is the Statue of Liberty, it says Semiramis, who created the Babylon Gardens and the Tower of Babel, you know, the Hanging Gardens. That's what it was. She is who the Statue of Liberty is made after. It's not hard. You can just go to the Medal of Honor website and it tells you that, right? Well, actually, I'll pull it up right now. But what's interesting is in the Christian Bible, Semiramis is known as the Whore of Babylon. That's because she married and was banging her son Nimrod. And Nimrod with her were having incestual sex magic, which is something that Aleister Crowley believed a lot into. And it was used to become illuminated. And then they started all the symbolism, like a crown, right? The crown is represents the sun because the king is supposed to illuminate them. That's why it's always made out of gold and it looks the way it does, the sun and its rays. That's why when they put a crown of thorns on Christ, the sun and its rays, that's what it's symbolic of. But if I pull up Semiramis and the Medal of Honor, it says, here it is. We'll put it right up there. Google AI pulled it up real quick for us. And let's go here. And you guys are like, why are you talking about this? Because this is what we're getting into tonight a little bit on the show with Ground Zero. It'll be a fun show tonight. I'm telling you, it'll be fire. Here it goes. It says the image of the Statue of Liberty centered on the Air Force Medal of Honor was inspired by the legendary queen Semiramis of Babylon, representing wisdom, strength, and beauty. Semiramis is where we get Moon Day from, by the way. Monday is for Semiramis, when you worship the moon goddess. Sunday is the day you worship the sun, Nimrod, if you believe the Babylonian story. And since the Babylonian and mystery religion is really saturated, it says Nimrod was the first person to rule the old world order. He unified the world. And that's why the occultists look at Nimrod as one of the founders of the craft of Freemasonry. Freemasonry. He was a builder, and he built cities. And his mother and wife, which he was, tapping, they basically came up with the mystery religion, which is the symbolism, a perversion of what the Christian God is. And there's a lot of misunderstanding because it's interesting because in the Esoteric Bible, the prophecy of Christ predates the idea of Judaism. I know that's hard for a lot of people. And Jordan Maxwell, a personal friend of mine, also known as Russell Pine, he was Manly P. Hall's protege. He wrote The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And Jordan and I were talking, and he said, if there's one secret I can leave you with that nobody really knows, it's the fact that Christianity supersedes Judaism. And it's like, how does that? And when you start reading the esoteric books, the prophecy of the Son of God coming, being hung on the cross, all those things, right? They're all in these old esoteric books, allegedly. So I've read the books, and if you don't read it, you don't know. You don't know. But Semiramis, right? She had incestuous relationships. That's where all the Illuminism comes from. And in the Bible and Christianity, everything is Illuminism, right? City on the hill, right? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And then you go to church and all the songs represent the sun and Illuminatism. That's a mystery religion. That's why, you see the sun with the zodiac signs, and it's astrotheology and it's Gnosticism. And that's essentially going back to what William Cooper said, that the church and the esoteric societies, the cults, have infiltrated all these organizations and permeated them with what is the Gnostic viewpoint or the idea of Judaism, which is essentially what Jonathan Williams warned about in his book, Legions of Satan. And if you don't know, it's one of the most banned books in history. It was taken out of the Library of Congress in the 1980s, and they denied it exists anymore. And the book was often quoted by McCarthy because of McCarthyism, and it talks about communism, essentially, and that at the signing of the Articles of Capitulation, when Cornwallis signed over his loss over to George Washington, he warned Washington that, within 200 years, that every religion will be permeated with Judaism, and the public will unknowingly worship the Jews' God, and that everyone will come under the all-seeing eye of Freemasonry, which is, in some people's viewpoint, just Zionist for non-Gentiles. I don't know. That's just all the bullshit I've heard all my entire life, and I've been trying to find out the root elements of all this. So what are your thoughts? Drop them in the chat. I'd like to see your viewpoints on this. But yes, the Medal of Honor, the Statue of Liberty represents Semiramis, and that's straight out of the military's website. You can go look up the Medal of Honor, Semiramis, and yes, she was banging her son. And in fact, when he died, he got cut into 14 parts because Abraham killed him, and they sent back her Nimrod's phallus to Semiramis, and she reanimated it and had Immaculate Conception of Tammuz on December 25th, which, equinox, again, another person on December 25th. Horus, where we get the term hours, it's an anagram for hours, or horizon, Horus is risen. That's why we go by 12-hour cycles, Horus and his 12 followers. The anagram and the information and his birth date is December 25th. Again, Osiris cut into 14 parts. It's just a similarity, and Jay Dyer will be like, oh, that is Alexander Hislop, and not entirely like I'm not saying he's completely wrong. I'm not saying he's completely right, but I'm saying there's a lot of coincidences and comparisons of sun deities. Is Odin Nimrod? Is Osiris Nimrod? Is Nimrod Osiris? Are they all Sumerian deities at the end of the day? Enki and Lil, all that jazz, and their original god line up. And I think it's interesting when I start hearing stories of rituals being done in Masonic lodges to Molech and Baal, and Knights Templar lodges when they're supposed to be really Christian, but it turns out that they're just Gnostics. That's what I learned from the Templar show on Gaia. At the end of the day, they believe Jesus was a tag team and Mary with John the Baptist, and they both had kids with her. I don't know why they believe this, but it might have something to do with a guy named Yeshua ben Pantera, who was what they believe to be Jesus Christ. Because everyone can be Christos, or Christos was the title, right? It's anointed. Christos is the reproductive oil, by the way. That's why they say the universe was started with the Big Bang. But anyways, all of this is very fascinating and interesting. And I know that you guys probably don't care a whole lot about the esoteric stuff. But tonight, it's going to be a rocking show. So you guys tune in to Ground Zero Plus, which, by the way, the Rundown Live will be moving from KGRA. Well, they'll still have reruns there, but all the new episodes will be available on Ground Zero Plus. I think it's going to be a great opportunity. It's going to be a great show. So I'm really excited for all you guys to join us there as well. The show will be launching here, I believe, next week. We're going to try to start with the new year, get a bang in with the new year, and a whole lot more. All right, guys, make sure you tune in to Ground Zero tonight. If you're Central Standard Time, that's 9 p.m. till midnight. If you are doing it East Coast time, that is 10 to 1 a.m. And if you're on the West Coast, I might have to hit up my homie Joshua Earp. Joshua Earp is an interesting guy. He loves this subject. That's somebody I should have invited on the show tonight. He's a producer, in Hollywood. He did The Bay, and he's like friends with like Tyson and Snoop Dogg and hanging out with Paris Hilton. And not that any of that really fucking matters at the end of the day, right? But it's an interesting person, and Hollywood sets the trends, right? Hollywood comes from the holly tree, the holly bush, and that's what the magic wand's made out of. That being said, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, dropping comments in the chat. Kitty, I appreciate the comments. Ron, I appreciate the comments. If you want to support this broadcast, you can. Just go ahead and send me a coffee or a Venmo. We are 100% funded by you guys, and I try to at least get one coffee a show. So if you're listening and you are watching this on Rumble, if you're watching on Band.video, if you're watching on KGRA or any of the other platforms we are, Facebook, YouTube, drop me a coffee, send me a Venmo. It goes towards the show, really, to be honest. At the end of the day, I make my own organic coffee. Maybe I should be selling. I thought about selling some Illuminati. It's a really good tea that you make that helps inspire weight loss. So I've been making that too. It's really good. That being said, guys, you guys have a good one. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys soon. Kriston T. Harris. Tune in tonight, Ground Zero on Ground Zero Plus.